This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Jewish Museum of Florida, FIU. Okay, you are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast show, episode number 136, and our guests today are Dr. Jaime and Mr. Boaz, and later on they are going to introduce themselves. But first of all, we have our Vice President, Pedro Jermaine, and he is our resident artist. He is sitting here with me looking smart. Okay.
Thank you, Lizzie.
And thank you all so much for being our guest today, zooming in from Miami, Florida, the home of my college, my university, the Orange and Blue. Yay! Dr. William McCormick is my president. A shout out to him. Hello, Doctor. Dr. William, how are you? And make sure you tell my friends and the alumni that I was on this show today, and make sure you let them know that we are on our way to Miami. So I'm going to turn it over to you all, and I want you to know again that we are honored to have you as our guest, and you may share with us whatever you want to talk about as far as the upcoming event in December, the Art Basel. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Boaz, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a great pleasure to be here with you, and I really appreciate getting the opportunity to spend some time with you on the show. My name is Boaz Levy. I'm the museum educator at the Jewish Museum of Florida, FIU, and I'm very excited to be here and to learn more about how to talk with students who come to the museum about the artwork and the history of Rosewood and its relationship to the collection that we have here.
Wonderful. Okay, Dr. Jaime.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here. I'm so happy having met you on site at the museum last week and receiving Pedro's amazing art to be able to converse and talk in this public way. So my name is Jaime Luria. I am the program manager at the Jewish Museum of Florida, and I'm also a postdoctoral fellow at FIU in the Religious Studies department. We have an amazing series of works by Florida-based artists, one of which is Pedro Jermaine. Very grateful to have his work on view since November 19th at the Jewish Museum on South Beach. And we have an event on December 7th, our Art Basel Brunch, which happens every year. This time we get to honor the history of Rosewood at the same time that we think about, the context of memory and belonging and our South Beach sort of hub. And then on January 25th, hopefully we'll have you both down again in the 305 to do another kind of program around genocide and Holocaust awareness.
Awesome. We are excited. Pedro?
Yes, should we, well, let me speak about how this all came about, right? I think that's a great place to start. Mm-hmm. So I was actually in Miami, January 2023, because I was headlining the MLK event for FIU, and I decided to make a stop by the Jewish Museum of Florida to meet Mrs. Susan Gladstone. And I was actually introduced to Mrs. Gladstone by the Green Family Foundation. It's attending an event on
the
Biscayne.
Green Family Foundation?
Yes, with Kimberly Green.
Okay.
Yes. So Kimberly Green introduced me to Mrs. Gladstone, and I made a stop by the Jewish Museum of Florida and spoke with her in January about possibly doing a piece to commemorate the victims and survivors' families of the Holocaust. I didn't know when. Knew it would take some work to do that. But 3 years later, approximately 3 years later, here we are. And I
Yes.
decided to intersect that history with the history of the Rosewood Massacre.
Because they are
Because-
inextricable connected, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Through the hate that initiated
Yes.
both, I guess, tragedies. So that's pretty much how we got here.
All right, wonderful. And we're going to have a wonderful time and a wonderful outcome because we working together, it takes all of us working together on the same accord to make sure this hate is minimized and we don't have room for hate. We need to come together as a country and work together because I am a former teacher. The most important thing to me right now, our kids, our children don't need to be exposed to all of this hate. They are our next generation, and we need to be examples. We need to be stars for them to pattern themselves after our good behavior because right now it's not too good. Okay, and like I said, it's going to take all of us, right, Pedro,
Oh, yes.
working together. Do you all agree?
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%. I think what I'm most excited for is that these two pieces that Pedro is generously let us put on in the museum are in conversation. I think so many students who come to the museum have not heard of key parts of the Holocaust. Much fewer have heard of the Rosewood Massacre, and I think it's going to be great to be able to teach them at the same time the relationship between those two and give students in Florida opportunity to learn more about their own history and their own relationship with the communities here and the way that hate has manifested here and what they can do to combat that.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, we had our opening event on November 19th. We missed you guys. You were there in spirit, but in sort of introducing the space to our 120 plus guests, I opened up. We had Susan Gladstone Pasternak, our director, give a gorgeous introduction, and then I came and took the mic and I said, we have a lot of work to do right now. Like, this is what's happening. And so that was kind of the tone that we set in creating this exhibition, this winter season show, and our concurrent exhibition, Hope Becoming Home, is thinking about what is hope right now? What does that mean? How do we teach hope? How do we live hope? How do we be hope? And yeah, exactly. So education, I think, is number one. And that's really the role of the museum.
Okay, I agree. And like we have said, working together, we can certainly make this happen as a team. And we can't wait to get there to see those two paintings, the Rosewood painting and the one of the Jewish Holocaust. We can't wait to get there to see them. And I'm more than sure when we speak, we can tell you the real story of what is happening, and hopefully children will be there. I'm excited about my first time visiting the art Basel. Looking forward to doing it. Okay, and
Wonderful.
yes, wonderful. We are super excited. Yes, and we plan to bring with us the spirit and the hope to make this a better world.
And I
Pedro?
almost feel like it is so just fitting that the title of the Rosewood painting is Hope Prevails for this event. And it was so important to me to have the title of, the Holocaust piece is Amidst Lev. So to have Amidst Lev complement Hope Prevails.
Yes,
So you have one that is Hope Prevails and Amidst Lev, which actually means courage of the heart.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, it was so hard to have those two come together and complement. It was a task.
Right. And courage is what keeps me going. This I started this, or my friends really implemented this website, this podcast for me because they were interested in history. And I do my podcast at Coach Steve Spurrier. Many of you know him. Podcast room at his restaurant. And they are very supportive. And when I tell you very supportive, they make sure I am here, okay, to carry on the history of Rosewood. And I have interviewed Steve Spurrier like 3 times, and I don't know if you know Meldon Law. His daughter is an attorney, and she works in Miami. She's Jewish. Her name is Jessica Meldon. I don't remember the last name. Nisian. Okay, she is going to also be there, hopefully, to meet you all when we arrive. And as I said, we're going to make it a big peaceful, hopefully the results, peaceful event. Okay, and what else I was about to say? Oh, and as I was about to say, my mother has always said, keep this history real, research, authenticate, document, tell the truth, never attack anyone or insult anyone. I have not done that. And she always said, it's not about you, babe. It's about the people. So I work hard to make sure we are tell the truth, because we're really seeking peace and healing and reconciliation for her sister, who was the teacher in Rosewood, survived the 1923 massacre. But I'm telling her story. My mother said, tell it. It's history. We must preserve it, and we must never allow it to be forgotten. So when I met Pedro, when did we meet Pedro?
2016.
2016. We'll have to tell that story when we get there. It's a long story.
Yeah, it's almost 10 years ago.
Yes. Boaz,
Yes.
I'll give you like a quick just synopsis of how we met. So I attended a Rosewood reparations banquet here in Gainesville at the Hilton. Didn't really know anyone at the banquet. So I'm just kind of in this wandering around, trying to meet people, trying to get acquainted with people. And I'm like standing over in a corner by myself, kind of taking a drink. And I see all these people going up to Lizzie, introducing themselves, and they're all excited to meet Lizzie. I knew about Rosewood. I didn't really know Lizzie. So I see all of them approaching Lizzie, and I'm like, she must be very important. Just
Not
out
really.
of the blue, Lizzie,
Spotlight.
Lizzie
Yeah.
calls me over to her table. She just calls me over, and I'm like, and I just slowly walk over there, and
The rest is history.
that's how we say it.
That's so cute.
It was so
And it's so
cute.
funny how she picked me out of a crowd of like 500 people. It's just
Wow.
out of,
Isn't
she
that-
picks me out of a crowd of 500 people.
God at work. That's exactly what it was. I don't know why okay, but for some reason, I don't know. I'm not going to try to explain why I selected him, but he came over and we have been friends ever since. Okay. I mean, from that night, it was a jump start.
Yes. And then I would say about a year into our relationship with Rosewood, is when I finally started discussing creating, I guess, a visual for the foundation. I'm like, Lizzie, do we have a visual for Rosewood? She's like, no. I said, well, we need to create a visual, a piece, art piece or
Yes.
something. And that's how it came about.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Was
And
that your
he-
first project?
Yeah.
With the foundation. Yes, that was my with
Yeah.
the foundation. Yeah. So, and Jaime, it was scary. I almost didn't do it.
Really?
Just
Wow.
because Boaz, I was nervous about how to portray it. I was like, Lizzie, are there any like
course.
historical reference photos I can? She's like, no, there's none. It has to be your interpretation of the events that unfolded that night. And I was like, oh. And so I kind of was shy.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so I kind of shied away from it. And Lizzie kind of had to have like, a coming to Jesus moment with me. She sat me down and talked to me, educated me. It was like a year-long process for me to like really understand it, learn from her. Executing the painting is the easy part. It's just the research and development stages that take the longest.
Yes, but he did an
course.
excellent job. And when he unveiled it the night at our
banquet,
at the
yes.
banquet, I was sitting there spellbound, and
Yes, no one said anything. When the bell dropped, no one said nothing.
No one
the whole
in the
ballroom
audience.
went silent. So I was like,
Exactly.
okay, either they hate this or they're just really When you're
Well, they
on
love
stage for like a minute and no one's saying anything, it is nerve-wracking. I was about to run off the stage.
Wow.
And I was like, Lizzie, I got Lizzie's attention. I'm like, do you guys like the painting? She goes, no, we love it. We just didn't expect that kind of a painting.
Yes, yes, yes. And as we said, history. Oh my God. And we have quite a few followers too. Okay, so we are doing what we need to do, hopefully, when we need to do it. Can't wait, as I say, we can't wait to get down there and share it with a bigger audience, okay? All
Yeah.
right.
Yes, I'm very excited for that.
Okay. Okay, that's about time for our first half. We are going to head to a quick break, and we'll be back right after a word from our sponsors.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida
and America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Jewish Museum of Florida, FIU. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are back, and as I said to you before we went on break, that Spurrier and his friends are excellent sponsors, and they have been sponsoring us or my show for 136 episodes, okay? I am always excited to give a shout out to them and let people know that each weekend there is a brunch. They host a brunch from 11 to 3 on the weekend. Please stop by and patronize them. The best food in town. And I'm not saying that because I eat here. It's the truth. People will come and they continue to show up every weekend. Full house every weekend. And many times the football players are still here, and the football families stay over, and they come to breakfast, and it's just a big house full of loving people, and everybody enjoy themselves, hopefully. But as I said to you, they are very supportive of this foundation. They don't know my mother, but it's like they know my mom, and they support her dreams to keep this history alive. So when I was fresh out of college and teaching in 1982, when the Rosewood Massacre resurfaced, my mother said, baby, she continued to tell me, you got to keep this history alive. And I didn't want to. I said, Mom, it's too painful. She said, I know, but someone has to tell the story. And if Mama was younger, Mama would tell it. And I wanted to say to her, well, Mom, tell it. Because I did not want to. Very painful. And today, it's still painful. She said to me one day, she said, well, if you're going to tell the story, you need to sing the story. Sing a song, and Mom is going to dictate a song. And she did. She said, I know you can't sing, and I can. She said, but learn this song. It tells a story of Rosewood. It's 13 verses long. I'm not going to share the 13 verses, but the most important verses, she said, went like this. The Cedar Key train conductors were told to pick up in Rosewood. Standing by the tracks with the lantern, its young school teacher stood, waiting in desperation to carry out the sheriff's plans, rounding up the hidden survivors to board the midnight train. The sheriff and the store owner worked around the clock, informed the train conductors just when and where to stop, pick up the men, women, and children who were hiding out, and bring them to Archer, Florida, traveling the same old route. Bob Walker and John Wright took on a daring risk, put the survivors on the train, Lord, and sent them off with a kiss. Notified the Gainesville families to be on the lookout for their kin. Told them the train was a-coming and told them exactly when. And I'm going to stop it there. Her sister was a teacher. She was the young lady at the train track with a lantern, remember I said, to direct the train that was coming from Cedar Key with the unsung heroes. And when I say unsung heroes, there were men, white men, that helped Bob Walker, the Levy County sheriff, work to get the people out of Rosewood alive, as many as he could possibly manage. So the train conductors were from Briceville, and they didn't want to participate either and manage this train out of Cedar Key, because they knew and suspected it would be repercussion once they discovered what had happened. And as a result of that, the sheriff lost his job. They fired him in a couple of years. He is the only sheriff of Levy County that's not listed in the Hall of Fame in Levy County today. And one of the train conductors, 1924, they spooked his horse, broke his neck. So they killed him. They don't talk about it, but they killed him. And as a result of that, I have worked intensely with the family. I have pictures from the family. I have a copy of his death certificate, the one they killed. And I don't want to say killed, but murder, that's still the same thing, isn't it? But anyway, his life was not lived successfully after then, because they knew they had helped. And I don't want to dwell on that. But anyway, back to, don't know what else I was going to say, because that kind of like upset me when I started talking about it. It's not easy to talk about it. Help me out, Pedro. Y'all help me out.
Well, I know we can go with Lizzie, but that song is actually what helped me. It really helped me visualize the piece for Rosewood Hope Prevails.
Really?
Because, yeah, it gave me an image. Hearing those, it gave me an image, and that's how I was able to produce Hope Prevails.
Chills.
Since during break, Jaime and I were talking about, emoting those feelings through art, and I was talking about Omid Slev, and how it's kind of difficult to portray that many emotions in the artwork, because there's just so many faces in that painting, and some of those faces are a little bit ambiguous, and some are a little more, they're more discreet, and I really want to find a way to, to emote that feeling of uncertainty, of loneliness that they felt in both situations. I saying sometimes I'm known to I will exaggerate certain features to emote that feeling, even to make that feeling even stronger for the viewer. So yeah. So, kind of a tactic I use. Yeah.
And you do have my aunt leading the pack, running. Did you all remember on that picture?
So whether that is through facial emotions or through motion itself, like them fleeing through the woods, you get the feeling and the sense of it. So yeah, it's all about how you emote it through art. It can be tricky, but
you did it.
Yes.
You did it. Well,
I think. I was going to say that I think Omid Lev really does accomplish that. I think that the variety of expression in it, and it's very impactful when you're standing right in front of it and seeing so much history and memory and the different faces that you created.
Or Jaime, as Jaime put it, Jaime said it shows the tug between deportation and liberation. So you actually see the emotions as they go from this uncertainty to almost this joy of being liberated. That was the goal with Omid Slev. It was work.
Yes.
To get it on there, and
It's like you're in suspension watching these individuals in suspense. Like they're sort of frozen and moving at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like between the hope and the sort of the devastation, right? And so even in our museum, the works are bridging two of our main galleries where we have our exhibitions. And so your work is situated within the context of a gallery that is titled "The Hate Around Us," and so it's really about walking from one, and you can see hope prevails from the corridor of the other
Yes.
gallery. And come in, it's like pulling you in, even while it's exiting the frame on its own. It's like the figures are leaving, and and then at the same time, Ometz Lev is sort of on the other end of the hall holding that space as well for people to just come and experience the same kind of, I suppose, distress and shock, but also like the questions that come after, like, who are we now? Like, what does this mean? And how do we keep telling these stories and be present with that? It's amazing.
And you know what was so perfect, Jamie? The location. You can stand in the hallway and see Hope Prevail. Awesome. And right across the street, not across the street, but the next post is the
Ometz Lev.
yes. Awesome.
Exactly.
It's like it was supposed to happen, just like it happened. Okay?
Yeah, they're really anchoring the space. And around it, we have a lot of archival materials and photographs, artifacts that talk about, racial and ethnic prejudice, discrimination, histories of resilience, but also trauma. So it's really like it's your work is informing that entire space. It's
It
it's
is.
an honor. Yeah.
It is.
It is.
It
And like
is.
I
For
said,
us.
it wasn't. And you know what?
For us.
And Jamie, no, it
The
wasn't
honor
an
is ours.
honor. It was an honor to branch out because I was telling Liz, I said traditionally I'm known for my my work that features like African American history and Black culture. So it was an honor to like branch out from that. I was I'm going to branch out and embrace another culture and tie it back to this because we've all been through that. We all know hate. We all know what it's like to So bringing everyone together was like the key goal of this. Because as I
Perfect.
said right now, Liz, we all need each other now
We
more
do.
than ever.
Amen.
That's just kind of where I am right now.
I am same place. Yes, we all are. We need each other. We're
Absolutely.
strength for each other. And as I said, the song is like 13 verses. You're going to enjoy if I'm allowed to sing when I speak, I will sing the entire song. It's the story. Once you hear the song, you don't need to hear the story.
It is. It's the entire story in song.
Awesome.
we-
And my mother dictated it in like 2 minutes. I said, Mom, I can't keep up. She said, well, do it in shorthand. I wanted to say shorthand. My mom, 8th grade scholar. I wanted to say shorthand. What do you know about shorthand? But I didn't. I kept writing. So after we completed it, we went back and edited it. And I filled in the spaces with her help. She was a genius. She told me she should have been the president of the United States when I was a little girl, She
I
was-
believe it. Yeah.
She had the ambition. She had the skill. Yeah, she was something else. And it's not about my mom, but it is about my mom. And she loved her sister. So we were really born in Archie. However, my aunt went to college, and she went to Fuller Memorial too, when it was in Live Oak and St. Augustine. But don't know what I was going to say, but anyway, we live in Archie, so that's where we're going to build the museum. I didn't talk about that, but all of you are interesting listeners out there. We are going to build a Rosewood Museum, the Mahalda Gussie Brown Carrier Cultural Museum in Archie on 29 acres that we still have in the family where she grew up, that my grandparents purchased in 1897-ish and said, don't sell my property because they are not making anymore. We have not sold that property, so we're going to put a museum there, and we're going to need help, and we want everybody's name on a plaque in the finance room, not the finance room, what you call that, Hall of Fame wall, saying that they have donated. Or whatever. We are working on that. And we have several people out there helping us. So we want to make it big and memorable and I stress kids, because if we don't teach our kids our history, they are not going to know it. Okay, and forget it.
It's a huge undertaking, Lizzie. It's, but then the alternative is what? Right? We have to do it.
Exactly,
Yes.
that's it.
Exactly.
Please
It's
tell us how we can.
24/7. And that's
That's
why
right.
we're reaching out to people like you and Boaz and the Jewish Museum, because you were talking about my certificate. You know how long I have been interested in them. And I never gave you the letter, but I never went back. I never returned back because I didn't have the help I needed. I didn't have the direction I needed. But I wanted someone else who had suffered the agony of defeat like I had and what I was going through. I wanted them to at least know that I'm out here. And it took someone like Pedro to come along almost 15 years later, and just out of nowhere, that he walked in my tracks, but he started things to roll and make things happen. Okay, and it's just amazing when things like that happen. Okay, we didn't know each other back in 2018, but look where we have gone and where we have taken each other. And we'll take each other further please don't ever forget, with your help, we need you. We really need you all. And
No, I think we're excited to be partners and to support, the museum. Our museum started as like a grassroots effort to kind of remember Jewish history in Florida. And so I think we have like a lot of connection there and come from a similar place. And I think we're all really thrilled. And I know that once you come down for Art Basel, you're going to find people who want to join your project too.
Wonderful.
And a lot of those early days. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
The collection sort of started with oral histories and testimonies in the first person. So giving people the sort of opportunity to tell their story
Yes.
as they experienced it and experience it in the present tense. That's so important too. So that's also the foundation of our museum. It's a community-based project. Yeah.
Exactly. And we want people to know we're going to see Kimberly Joy Green when we come down. We want people to know how involved she is and has been with Rosewood. She gave us a generous donation 2 or 3 years ago, and we want her to know we appreciate it. In fact, I texted her the other day and I reminded her that we appreciate it, and we are in constant contact with Kimberly. Do you all know Kimberly Green? No?
Know of her. I've not met her personally, yeah.
Okay, you will.
No, we will.
But they are very familiar with the Green Family Foundation. Most people say
Yes.
and the work they do. So yes.
Yes, and the work.
The
they do.
program Yeah. It's the Green School, the family,
Yes.
in which the department where I work, the religious studies is housed. So it's the Green School for public and international affairs. So yeah, very well known family for sure.
Very,
Yes.
very amazing.
Yes.
And Jaime, how I got involved with them in 2011, 2012. My friend came to me. He was a medical student at FIU, and they initiated the first mammography art initiative. So I headlined that event for them. I had to paint like 13 paintings. It was exhausting. And we auctioned those pieces off, and the proceeds from those paintings went to help women in underserved communities get mammogram screenings and all that throughout the Miami-Dade area. And the Green family were the sponsors of that, so I partnered with the Green family to make that happen. And ever since then, Kimberly Green and I and her family, we've been very close because I did that for them, and that's kind of where that relationship came from.
And that's how I met the Green family, through Pedro. He only told them about my foundation and shared with them what I was doing, and they gave a donation, a generous donation.
Wow.
Awesome people. We can't wait. We cannot wait. We
Gonna
can't
be
wait
fun.
to get there.
It's gonna be a party.
It's going to be a party. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode 136. I am Lizzie Queen Lizzie. Until next time, goodbye. Thank you all.